guys, my name is Gaby Sosa. I'm one of the cooks over at Napa Rose, the Grand California Hotel. And today I'm super excited. What
are you doing?
Easy. There you go. Go get it. Okay. Hey guys, my name is Gaby Sosa. I'm one of the cooks over at Napa Rose in the Grand California Hotel. And today I am super excited to be taking over my friend Christian's YouTube channel and showing you guys an awesome recipe that is super simple, very easy, super tasty, and perfect for the holidays. So let's get started. So here we're gonna start off with our crispy braised chicken thighs. Now here we have some very nice chicken thighs, bone in, skin on. And we're just gonna season them really well with salt and pepper on both sides. Now I think thighs are a perfect cut for this dish just because they're very affordable. They have a ton of flavor and they hold together really nicely, especially for this dish because we're gonna be searing them. So they stay nice and moist inside, which is perfect. Meanwhile, we have our pan over here that's getting nice and hot. We're gonna add a little bit of canola oil to this. Guys, super important, please make sure that your pan and your oil are nice and hot, because if not, what's gonna happen is you're gonna add your chicken in, the skin's going to stick, and then when you try to flip it over, it's just going to tear and make a big mess, and you don't want that. So super important, remember, hot pan, hot oil. Okay, so now we're just going to slowly add our thighs into the pan, skin side down. There we go. And something that I like to do whenever I'm cooking something with skin, whether it be chicken or fish, is I like to just gently press down using either my tongs or a spatula just to make sure that the skin stays nice and flat. We want a really good sear on these thighs, so we're gonna go ahead and let them hang out for about 15 minutes. Do not move them, do not touch them, do not try to flip them over. I know guys, this is like the hardest part of this recipe, but it's super important. So I will see you in 15 minutes. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go ahead and check our thighs. We're just gonna flip them over. And look at that. That is perfect. Golden brown, crispy skin, that's exactly what we want. We're gonna go ahead and let them hang out for a few more minutes on the other side. Meanwhile, I'm gonna show you some of the rest of the ingredients that we're gonna be using in here. We have 1 onion, we have some fennel, some garlic, a little bit of lemon peel and fresh thyme to give our thighs some good flavor and some good aroma. We also have some Spanish olives. Fun little fact, I actually do not like olives. I do not like them whatsoever, but they are amazing in this recipe. How that works out, I have no idea. Moving on, we have about a cup of chicken stock. If you have your own homemade chicken stock, good for you, that is perfect. If not, that's totally fine. You can use store-bought chicken stock. Just try to make sure that you get the low sodium chicken stock. And then last but certainly not least, we have some dry white wine. You can use whatever you have or whatever you like on hand. Just please make sure it's not sweet. My mom did that by accident once and it was not very good at all. Okay, so now back to our chicken thighs. We're gonna go ahead and actually remove these from the pan. These are not cooked all the way through. We're actually gonna finish them in the oven for a little bit. Meanwhile, we're gonna go ahead and add our onion, our fennel, and our garlic. Pinch of salt to help break down our veggies. A little bit of pepper too. I like to season everything as I go. Every single layer, you wanna make sure you season it. You wanna make sure your dish has really good flavor. Beginning to end, make sure you always season everything. Okay, so now we're just gonna give this a good stir. We're gonna cook this for about 5 minutes just until our vegetables start to get a little bit tender. I love braising. when I think of fall, especially right now, we're in fall, I think of braising, I think of roasting, you know, nice purees. But a lot of people, I feel, are intimidated by braising. It's not that hard, and I hope that when you guys see this video and you see how easy and how delicious this cooking technique can be, I hope you guys give it a try. Alrighty, so now we're just gonna go ahead and add our aromatics. So we have some fresh thyme, we have some lemon peel. I know you guys can't smell this right now, but I can, and it smells awesome. And then last but not least, we're gonna go ahead and add our olives. Give this a good mix. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our chicken thighs back into the pan. These are almost ready to go back into the oven. So now that our chicken thighs are back in the pan, we're gonna go ahead and deglaze with just a splash of wine. Not too much, not too little. What is deglazing? Well, a lot of times when we pan sear something and we remove it, we have a lot of like sort of brown stuff on the bottom of the pan. A lot of people think it's burnt. It's actually not burnt, it's flavor. It's a lot of flavor, and we want to try to use as much of it as we can. So in order to deglaze it, whenever you add any kind of liquid into the pan, all that brown stuff, that flavor kind of unsticks from the pan and rises up to the surface, and that's what deglazing is. And it's really good. You want to try to give it a good stir to make sure all of that comes off from the bottom. And now we're going to go ahead and add our chicken stock. Now you want to add, this is about a cup of chicken stock. You want to add enough chicken stock that will go up just about halfway to your thighs. You don't want to submerge your chicken in the liquid. Why? Because we work so hard to get that nice crispy golden brown skin. You don't want to lose that. You don't want it to get soggy. So just about halfway. Now, before we throw this into the oven, we're gonna go ahead and season one last time, just for good measure. A little bit of salt and pepper. And now we're ready to go into our oven. 350 degrees for about 15 minutes, just until they're cooked all the way through and nice and tender. So now that we have our thighs working in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and get started on our holiday mash. Basically just a really yummy mashed potato, equal parts russet potato to sweet potato. And so again, super simple, super tasty. That's what we're gonna do today. Now, here we have our pot of boiling water that we're gonna season really well with salt. Now, typically when you think sweet potato, you think orange, but fun little fact, there's actually white sweet potato. It's a little less sweet than your typical sweet potato, but it works just as fine. So we have one sweet potato that has been peeled and cubed, and then one russet potato that has been peeled and cubed as well. And so you can leave them whole if you'd like, that's totally fine. I personally like to cube them just so that they cook a little bit faster. So we're gonna go ahead and add these to our pot. You don't have to cook them separately. They'll cook together just fine. So why dirty another pot? So now we're just gonna go ahead and let them cook together for about 12 to 15 minutes until they're nice and tender. One way that you can check when your potatoes are done is by simply just taking a fork or a knife, poking them through, and if they go all the way through, they're done. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, our potatoes are ready. We just strained them out. So now we have here our fancy little gadget. It's called a food mill. I personally like to use these to make potatoes just because they're great to make sure that they come out fluffy and creamy and have no lumps in them whatsoever. But if you do not have one of these at home, that is totally fine. You can do mashed potatoes just regularly with a good old potato masher, or if you're like me back in the day, you just take out a fork and go to town. But today we're gonna be fancy and we're gonna use this little trusty gadget. So we're just gonna add our potatoes in here. You don't have to add all of them at the same time. And what I like to do is I like to add half of my potatoes and then half of my butter. We're using about a stick of butter today. So we're gonna add about half of it. And this just makes it so that when we cream them together, it makes the potatoes that much creamier, that much smoother. I'm just gonna go ahead and cream them. Okay guys, our mashed potatoes look lovely. They're velvety, they're creamy. We're just gonna add a few more ingredients to finish them up. Here we have about 2 ounces of warm, heavy cream. We're just gonna add that in there. You can use milk if you'd like. Also, sour cream, delicious. Really, really good. And then for seasoning, we're gonna use, we have some fresh chopped sage. It is fall time, it is November. So I like to use sage in pretty much anything when it comes to fall time. Okay. And last ingredient, a squeeze of half a lemon juice. Okay. Just one more pinch of salt for good luck. Give this one last stir. And now we are ready to try this. That's really, really good. Like I said before, the white sweet potato is not quite as sweet as the orange one. The orange one definitely gives it a very pretty color, but I think the taste on this one is just perfect. Alrighty guys, so now we are all done. We have our holiday mash, we have our braised chicken thighs. Now we're just ready to go ahead and plate. So guys, I really, really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that you give this recipe a try. Like I said, it's perfect for the holidays. I know Thanksgiving is coming up and not a lot of people like turkey, or sometimes they do, but they want to do something a little bit different, want to do something to impress your friends. I think this will be perfect. Super simple, super easy. We're just going to take a little bit of the garnish and put it right on top of our chicken. Make it look a little extra fancy, like you worked hard, even though the oven did most of the work. That's okay. And that is it. Oh, and one more thing. You can't forget the sage. I love sage. Just garnish that right on top. And we're done. Thanks, guys.
Honey, do you maybe want to work on the YouTube channel?
What? YouTube? No. I'm playing a video game right now. Tell the kids they can watch YouTube later.